Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? So what I have in for repair today is another Samsung Galaxy S22. And like the previous one, it's still just the Type-C USB port replacement that we're going to be doing. We're not going to replace the whole port um, because this customer is in a hurry and I do not have one in stock. I could keep them in stock. It's just that I don't run into too many of them, and when I do, it's probably just a lot quicker for me to just replace it. So that's what I've been doing, is replacing them whenever I run into issues with them. The moisture warning, for instance. Let me show you guys this one actually before I go ahead and start the repair, so you guys can see what it's doing, the before and the after. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to simply just plug this port back in, and then we'll test it. Which, if you're doing these repairs, you should always test any repair at all. You should always test whatever's going on with it first before you go ahead and proceed with the repair. These repairs are coming from other shops, so they've tested them and sent me pictures and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and let's plug the port in. Let's see what happens here. So we're getting 200 milliamps, 400 milliamps. And what was that? Or what was that? So this port must be really, really bad. No, oh, no, it's not really, really bad. I just didn't connect up the battery properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see what happens here. We probably have to put the, let's go ahead and let's stick the back on. Let's get the screws out so we don't lose the screws. Okay, here we go. It's pretty clear. All the screws. And let's try this again. So I believe it's just telling them that there's some kind of debris or something in the port, which whenever we see that, just like all the other ones, you just need to replace the port itself. You can buy them online. They're fairly cheap. They're not super expensive to buy the port. But if the customer is in a rush and you don't have one, then this is how you can fix that issue. Hold on, can I probably can use, seen something about a Samsung on here. Maybe I can use my earpiece here if it doesn't die to add a device, Bluetooth. Let's see if it'll find my earpiece, and that way I can just record using that. Let me just turn it off on my phone. And let's see if we can get it connected up on the computer, and I can use that as a Bluetooth. So I just turn off my Bluetooth on my phone, and maybe we'll be able to discover it on the computer. So I just felt the phone vibrate, but I didn't see anything from it. And it dropped down to 200 milliamps, and we're kind of hanging at 200 milliamps, 300 milliamps, and it's back to charging again, but it hasn't, the battery percentage hasn't gone up. And that could be something different, right? Like, there it goes again. Let's see if it's going to drop off. Yep, it's starting to drop. So it's almost like it never charges. I don't think this is a charging port issue, but I was having issues with these ports when I did the other one. So let's just try a different cable here. The So we get nothing from that one. So we get nothing from this black cable. See this one? Nothing from that one either. So it's just saying the battery is completely drained. Okay, so we're getting nothing from it. So at this point, since I'm getting nothing from the port, I'm just gonna go ahead and replace it. I'm gonna start there because I do have one of them that's trying to charge it, this one. So this one starts the process and then it stops. It never gets anywhere past this. But like I said, that's just very strange. That's not the normal behavior of an actual port that needs to be replaced. This is the behavior of something else. Yep, so there it goes, it's vibrating. And once it vibrates, it doesn't continue to charge. So it'll shut off the charging and it'll start charging again. Okay, well let's just replace the port because that's what was requested of us by the other shop, and then we can go from there. If we find something else, then we can kind of explain to them what's going on or what we found. Because that seems more like a wireless charging, like the wireless, or maybe I didn't even click this in. Okay, all right. So let's just try that first. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna put the port back in. That's my fault for not connecting it up properly. Okay, so we're gonna connect up the battery, then we're gonna connect up the port, make sure that it's connected up like that. And then let's try it again. Okay, we're gonna use this. We get nothing. No charging at all. So it still remains the same, but let's try this one and let's see if once we get past that point, let's see if this one actually starts doing something. Takes about 10 seconds, and after 10 seconds, if this vibrates again, then go away, then probably more than likely something is going on with the port. If not, we can change over to wireless charging and see if that does anything for it. And there it goes, it stopped charging again. It's going back up, and then it starts the charging process again. Okay, let's try the wireless charging. Let's see if we replace that wireless charger, if we'll get this thing to actually do something else. I know I have a parts phone here unless I did get rid of it. So this is not an S. This is not an S22. G990. So is this a 23 and this a 20? All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay. G990. So this is an S21 FE. Okay, so there's a difference there. This is an S21 FE and not an S22, which is what I was told. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just replace this port and then we can go from there because that doesn't make any sense at all. Because it doesn't seem like that's a problem. And I think I might have one of those ports. So, which I would love to just test the port in there just to make sure first. So let's see where we have these S21 FE ports. Because I knew I ordered one. Actually, I think I ordered two. Because I had S21 FE come in that had charging issue. Okay, so here we have some. Yeah, it's definitely yeah. So it's not an S21 or not an S22. That's what the customer said it was an S22. It's not an S22. S23. Nope, but I can definitely see the corrosion on it. It's not an S23. It's not an S21. Could be an S21 Plus. Like I said, everything that I'm looking up is just very weird online. Not an S21 Plus. It's probably an S21 FE. That's what I'm thinking it is. And for right now, I cannot find my S21 FE port that I did order. I have stuff that I haven't even opened yet that I ordered, like these. I have not opened them yet. And some of the stuff I kind of halfway open, not all the way. Okay, so let's just change that port. Let's just focus on changing it, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens once we change it. Because all I'm doing right now is just wasting time. So let's go ahead and turn on the light. Put it in here. Nope, this side. I mean, you can do it from the other side also if you'd like to. And it will just kind of fall out. I'm reusing this same piece of tape that I used the other day. Okay. And let's see how it's sitting in here. That should be good. That should be good. And why is our other camera not on? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick swap, a hot swap. That's what we're going to call this one, a hot swap, okay? And with the hot swap, what you need to do is have your other port ready. I'm going to prep it by first adding some solder. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to add some solder to these pins. And the way we're going to do the hot swap is we're not going to remove the old solder or anything like that. We're just going to heat up the board, remove this port, grab the other port, and drop it in place. That's the hot swap. So while the board is still heated up and everything like that, we'll switch the ports around. Very risky if you've never done a charging port replacement or a Type-C, the actual port, because you can melt the entire connector. Make sure that all my pins kind of have like a little bubble to them, and that should be enough, okay? So now we got that prepared. Let's go over here and make sure that we get our board also prepared. And how I'm going to prepare this is make sure that this is tucked away. Nice, nice, okay? And let's get our hot air. We're doing 355 airflow. Let's do 45, 44. So I'm gonna switch to the overhead camera because I feel like that's gonna give you guys more value. Why is it still stuck on this image? Okay, there we go. Okay, so you guys can see that better. And what, you know, realistically, you could turn up the heat and just kind of get this thing in and out real quick. And sometimes it's a lot better to do it that way than just constantly add this heat over it. But we'll just keep this heat on here for a few more minutes, and then if anything, we'll just up it just to kind of, here we go. All right, it's out. All right, we're going to keep our heat on the board. And let's add some flux. Okay, and I'm keeping an eye on the board. Oh. Nope, so we can't do that because, let me just double check here. Yeah, because most of these pads have nothing on them. Let me show you guys this. So I thought I could do a hot swap, but as you can, if you're looking, you can see that most of the pads have nothing to them. There should be like a little hill to them. And that's what lets you know that, hey, you have enough solder there to make a good connection. If you don't see that, I would suggest that you add solder to the board to make your job and your life a lot easier. If not, you're going to be going back to remove the port in order to make sure that the other side of the board is connected. because that's more than likely what would have happened here. Would be one side would be connected and the other side wouldn't. See what happens when you don't have flux on the board? That's what happens. Feel like you can't solder. Okay, it all looks good. Okay, so what we're looking for now is, and I'm going to keep this camera on so you guys can see what's going to happen here. I think this is the new port. Okay, that does not look like a new port anymore. It looks kind of melty, like I've melted a little bit of it. And the temperature was not that high, so let's get a different one. So you always want to make sure that the port that you're using also is in really good condition. But like I said, if not, you're going to be going back to redo these repairs because it's not done right. Okay. Okay, and let's use the wick to remove some of this extra solder that we have here on these pins. We have so much right here. Just remove that. Just like that. Still making sure that there's a hill on there. Okay, like that, see? They all got a little hill to them, okay? All right, so now let's try this again. Okay, and we're gonna turn off our air. And we're just gonna hold that in place. That's all I need. I don't need any more than that. Okay, that looks good. Oh, we still have right here on the board that the solder hasn't cooled. Okay, there we go. Not yet. Okay, here we go. So I didn't see it move anymore. That's an indication of this is good, okay? And we don't really need to clean up. There's not much to clean up. Just gonna check on this side to make sure that we have pins that came through. That backside is good. Okay. And just a little bit of alcohol, just a very small amount. Very, very small amount to clean up. Because there's not much to clean up because we didn't put a lot of flux on the board. It was just enough. Okay, we got that side cleaned up and this side. Okay, just like that. And we're gonna put it into the phone and let's go ahead and let's see what happens here, okay? Okay, and let's connect the wireless charger. And let's plug it up. So let's start off with one of the chargers that weren't working before. Let's see if those are actually working. And yes, they are working now. So this cable previously was not working. Now it is. So let's see what happens here. 700 milliamps, that's what we're at. It's still only charging at 5 volts though. So not a big worry because we can always just double check that later on. And we'll flip the connector around just to see. Oh, there we go. And there we go. Now we're getting 9 volts. Okay, so let's turn this around on this side. And we're also charging on that side also. So now both sides of this connector is working. So there was moisture in it for sure. I could see the moisture, but I just wanted to double check, make sure that I'm doing the right thing and not just, whatever the customer says is wrong. That's all I'm doing. I didn't even check it myself. I wanted to make sure that I checked it myself, make sure that it's working or that it's not working. And then when I'm done, it is working. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put these 3 screws back in. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the phone on and I'm going to test to make sure that when I connect up the cable, I don't get any of the warnings. Putting this down the middle so you guys don't get all the customer's information or try to cover up some of their information. Whatever parts I can cover up. Okay, so there's nothing for me to really cover up. We'll just test the charger, make sure that we're not getting a moisture warning. Fast charging is working. That's good. Turn it around. And it's still charging, okay? So we're good there. We don't have the moisture warning. We don't have any of that stuff. and we will install the customer SIM card, and that's it. So that was that repair, guys. Just replacing the actual Type-C port on a Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.